Oh boy, here we go again. You won't believe this one, guys. For the second week in a row, Joe Budden is making it crystal clear that he wants absolutely no part in this so-called academic beef involving Charlemagne. Fans have been pushing him hard to break it down or at least give a solid, informed take, especially since Joe actually knows both sides and has worked with them before. But for some reason, he's standing firm and refusing to move an inch. On the latest episode of his podcast, episode 938, Joe even did what I can only call a full-on Ray Charles move and made it clear he's not discussing the clash between Charlemagne and Akademiks TV, aka George. And honestly, he even took it a step further by calling out Charlemagne for stepping into a fight with what he called a faceless opponent. It reminded people of when Joe previously called out Jay-Z for responding to everyone he dissed at the Roots picnic, because in Joe's view, Charlemagne's platform is too powerful to be aimed at someone like George. Even with Akademiks directly tied into this whole situation through his name and brand, Joe still refuses to entertain any of it. Here's exactly what he had to say.
Off day and sit on the phone for 2 hours to talk about Akademiks and Charlemagne, even though Charlemagne is your friend. So did you call Charlemagne? Are we getting to the root of this thing or what?
Because you said you didn't want to cover it, so I let it alone.
No, I said I don't want to cover it. I don't want to cover a Charlemagne versus George, Grand Wizard, whoever this loser nigga is that I don't fuck with. Hey, George, Grand, whatever your name is. The second you step foot on American soil, I'm calling the police. That don't hit as hard as what I wanted to say. I'm calling the cops on you. Fuck that nigga. But
give us the breakdown, Joe.
This topic seems to be pretty hot.
It is.
The fans are on me for not talking about it. And yo, listen, I don't care about it, a lot of the shit that y'all care about. In the group chat, Mark tried to send me whatever Oskino had to say.
Yeah, we saw that.
Nigga, the Knicks just won the championship. Oskino, I don't listen to what you got to say on a regular Wednesday. I damn sure ain't about to do it on a Knicks championship run. Next week, we'll get into some of that. Who else? Somebody else been talking shit. But anyway, I called. Yeah, shout out to Oskino. But anyway, I called Ak up, and I said, all right, how real is you versus Charlemagne? Is it really happening now? I seen you go online and say, if you call me telling me some shit and you don't tell me who it come from, I assume that you down with it. I've seen him going on his podcast talking about it. Where does this stand? And Ak said to me the same thing that I told the JBTV fans he was going to say. Yo, I ain't got no beef with Charlemagne. I have zero beef with Charlemagne. What's going on is this dude, whoever George is, the Akademiks TV page, for Akademiks, that is his community. That's not just one person. That is his world of Clippers, and it just happens to have a head Clipper who runs his account, according to Ak. That has been like a fan-run page for quite some time. And that page, the George dude specifically, has something going on with Charlemagne, to whereas George thinks that Charlemagne is sicking private investigators on him and trying to dig into his life. He's saying he's walking out of the house and seeing strange people, and he puts that on Charlemagne. And Charlemagne is saying this dude is and continues to post horrible things about me, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this, because who is this faceless person that's from Australia that's named George that got this resume? And Charlemagne is on his podcast running it down. To me, even that sounds funny, because Charlemagne beefing with some fucking faceless nigga in Australia that runs a Clipper page looks nuts, but I'm not in his shoes.
Why look nuts? I don't agree with that.
Why does it look nuts?
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Well, you gonna talk? You want me?
I'm about to go.
I think his voice is. I think his voice is too big. Like, if you feel like somebody is tweeting defamatory things, there are ways to go about that in the back channels and take care of it. But also, if Homeboy is right in these private eyes, being from Charlemagne, and that means we're already doing things behind the scenes to try to rectify the situation. So there's no need to make a public spectacle. There's no need to take something like that serious. Don't misrepresent it.
To a lot of these folks, though, especially the nameless ones who run around saying the craziest shit about people, the one place you get them is removing that faceless part. Now, if I show the world this is who you are,
in court.
Well, to them, court of public opinion.
See, I think Charlamagne is too big for the court of public opinion case. That's my opinion.
But it's attached to Akademiks.
That's my opinion.
Akademiks is a big media page. It's attached to him. So it gets more light than it's not light. It gets more light because it's attached to Akademiks. So if that platform that's attached to you is saying something defamatory about me, and I know it's going to get a lot of views, I'm going to take it upon myself to find out who it is. I don't think Charlamagne is doing anything wrong.
Well,
I do agree with what you say. Maybe you shouldn't talk about it publicly, but fuck all that shit. Yeah, send niggas to his house and find out who he is and get the information.
And again, according to Act, he has told this page stand down on Charlamagne or speaking about his peers because he don't rock like that. But if the dude running the page feels like there are private eyes and other things happening in my life that he is attributing to Charlamagne, according to Act, it's tough for Act to then say, yo, all right, stand down. So Act feels like he's in a tough spot, in a vulnerable, compromised position. He says he wants to get on the phone and squash it with both of them because that shit is whack. And this is not an Akademiks versus Charlamagne thing.
Okay.
This is Charlamagne versus the dude, the George. And he's caught in the middle of it. That is what I got from our 90 minutes, 2 hours of talking. And that's all the research I'm doing on it.
I think that's what the fans wanted. They wanted your take on it.
Investigative journalism.
Exactly.
Off the top, if I was sitting right there on the Joe Budden podcast, I would have cut him off immediately and asked, bro, why are you even talking about calling the cops on George W? Did he actually do something personal to you to make it this serious? And you won't believe this, but this is now the second time Joe Budden has dropped what sounds like a direct threat toward Akademiks TV.
Find that little motherfucker behind that Akademiks TV page. I got somebody that I'm going to send to talk to.
So at the end of the day, there's clearly something more personal going on here than Joe is willing to fully admit out loud. And when it comes to Joe saying Charlamagne shouldn't even be speaking on it because his voice is too big, you've got to question that logic a bit. He's not saying this on a massive network like radio, The Breakfast Club, or Netflix. He's speaking on his own podcast, where the whole format is literally built around reacting to trending topics and current drama. And here's the real twist. You won't believe how quickly that narrative flips. Because if he avoids it completely, fans are immediately going to say he's ducking smoke from Akademiks TV and Akademiks himself. But interestingly, once he did speak on it, things seemed to shift. Like Akademiks started to back off after escalating the situation, and even tone down those harsh Netflix-related smear tweets. Now look, it's one thing when someone low-key with no real platform is involved in online beef, but when it's coming from a major media voice like Akademiks TV, it naturally forces a public response. And I rock with Joe, but come on, calling Akademiks like he's going to confess to everything is like asking someone directly tied to a crime if they're going to admit it on the spot. No chance he's just going to say, yeah, you got me, I did it.
I commit a crime. Golly gee, are you kidding me? They're trying to frame me for this crime. I was in the library studying for my exams.
The full chain of events that brought us to this point is out in the open for everyone to review. And honestly, that's what makes this situation even harder to ignore. Come on, Joe. Nobody is telling you to take a side in the drama. But at the very least, you can speak from your own first-hand encounters with Akademiks TV and address the misleading stories and click-driven posts they've repeatedly pushed about you over the years.